What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're taking a look at Santa Claus is Coming to Town, one of the second best of the original animated Christmas specials. I really like Santa Claus is Coming to Town. This, along with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, were the two Christmas movies that I would watch religiously when I was a youngster. Looking back on this movie now, 50 years later, I think Santa Claus is Coming to Town still really holds up. This movie does a really good job at giving a more grounded origin story to how Kris Kringle became Santa Claus. If you were to compare this movie, you can compare Santa Claus is Coming to Town to Captain America, the First Avenger, and it gives a realistic take on the origins of Santa Claus, how he was orphaned as a child, how he was adopted by the Kringle family, how he grew up to become this toy maker, and how he pretty much saved this little town of Sombertown from the tyrannical rule of the villainous Burgermeister Meisterburger, who had outlawed toys because he doesn't like them. And you have pretty much Kris Kringle being labeled as an outlaw, a rebel, a nonconformist, somebody who breaks the rules, all because he wants to spread joy to a town that is just joyless. And we get a realistic take on that. We get to see how he meets Mrs. Claus, who is a school teacher named Miss Jessica. We get to see him meet his reindeer. We get to see how he gets his magic from, which is from the villainous Winter Warlock, who he eventually conforms into a more human character. Santa Claus is Coming to Town is a very good animated movie, and 50 years later, still holds up really, really well. The stop-motion animation of this film looks fantastic. I like the overall look of this movie. The voice acting by people like Mickey Rooney and Keenan Wynn is really well done. If I were to have any gripes with this movie, it would be the depiction of the Winter Warlock. When we first see the Winter Warlock, he is depicted as this very intimidating, just evil wizard-like type of hermit. But we don't really get to see him do a whole lot of evilness because his turn to the good side is done fairly quickly. And I think it's because you already have the human villain of the Burgermeister Meisterburger, who is the overall antagonist of the film. Though the Burgermeister Meisterburger's grand finale is done off-screen, and we don't really get to see a final battle between Santa Claus and the Burgermeister Meisterburger. I think it would have been cool if we would have seen Santa kind of conform the Meisterburger into a more jovial character. Instead, he pretty much loses his power off screen, and he's eventually just defeated off screen just by giving up, I suppose, because he fell out of power. There's no really good resolution to the Burgermeister story. It's all done in an epilogue type of way, where it's just glossed over. And I think we could have gotten more of a final battle, and I think the stuff with the Winter Warlock in his evil form could have been stretched out much, much more. However, when he's just going by the human name of Winter, I like him. He and Santa Claus have a good chemistry, and him teaching Santa Claus the magic and stuff like that was really cool. The inclusion of Jessica, the relationship of Jessica and Kris Kringle is also handled really well in a very grounded way. At first, Jessica wants to adhere to the laws of Sombertown, but she soon realizes that it's ridiculous and makes no sense whatsoever, and she pretty much finds herself relating more to Kris Kringle and his ideals more than the ideals of this tyrannical ruler of a town just full of kids who just want to have fun and want to play. So that was all handled really, really well as well. This movie also, like I said, this movie gives grounded reasons as to how Santa Claus became Santa Claus. The reason why he went down chimneys was because the Meisterburger had windows and doors locked. The reason why we had stocking stuffers is because it was a way for him to hide the toys that no one would suspect. The reason why the reindeers fly is because they were given magical food. This movie brings logical reasons as to how Santa Claus was able to beat the tyrannical rule of Sombertown and pretty much lift them from tyranny. It's all done in a really good way. And I also like how this movie is told through the narration of Fred Astaire, who's playing Special Delivery Kluger, who pretty much narrates the entire movie. And that's also done in a really good way as well. It's almost like he's reading a storybook, which is actually a pretty cool way of looking at it. So, I don't really have a whole lot of complaints for Santa Claus to come to town, except for those except for those two complaints that I do have. This is my second favorite of all the Christmas specials. I still really enjoyed this movie, and Mickey Rooney, he is the voice of Santa Claus. He is Santa Claus. His portrayal as Santa is fantastic. So yeah, all that being said, I'm going to give this film a solid 9 out of 10. Still holds up and still a classic. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.